Welcome into the DNVR Rockies podcast, still brought to you by Strava Craft Coffee. Remember to use that promo code DNVR25 because you'll get 25% off your entire purchase of that CBD-infused, deliciously rich, and potentially life-altering Strava Craft Coffee. Also, don't forget to subscribe at StravaCraftCoffee.com. I'm your host, Drew Creasman. I'm the managing editor of DNVR Rockies. With me, as always, is the team, beat writers Patrick Lyons and Makayla Perkins, here to take a look around Major League Baseball, take a look at some of the biggest stories in the game so far this year, some of the most fun, interesting, entertaining things around the game of baseball, and just whatever's been catching our eye so far. As we've always got one eye, usually both eyes on the Rockies, but right around the seventh inning of the 7-0 shutout, maybe you start peering around and looking at some of those other games. We'll talk a little bit about last night's loss to the Dodgers at the end of the show. We do want to start up front here with a little bit of updates for all of you because it's competition time. That's what we do around here, right? It's all about competing. It's all about getting out there, having some fun. And as you longtime listeners and subscribers to the YouTube especially will know, we had some fun doing some drafts in the off season. We had a couple of these things, and we're going to get a quick update beginning with our dudes. If you'll recall, we set a record. We need to contact Guinness and send that podcast to them and see if we set a record for the number of times the word dude was said in an hour.
I'm pretty confident that we definitely set a record for that. That was a dude episode.
And if you know anything about the Guinness World Records, they are a series of records that no one really cares about or ever should have ever tried to accomplish. And so we didn't try to do it, but yet here we are, Guinness record holders. And yeah, we drafted our dudes, and very subjective, not necessarily who we thought was going to have the best 2021, not necessarily who we thought was going to be that much better than last year. It was just, who's your dude? Who are you going to root for? Who are you going to pull for? Who are you excited about? And there we got our teams. And you know what? I'm excited about my first two dudes, and Ryan McMahon. Yeah, he had a 3 home run game. He's up there as league leaders in home runs, and Josh Fuentes had some big highlights. So I'm happy with my dudes so far.
Yeah.
I wish I could say the same.
Team Makayla is not looking great so far.
It's looking a little rough. Brandon Rodgers is hurt, so he has yet to play a game. Jonathan Daza is not hurt, but he has not played in many games. He did make the roster, which I think deserves a point because there were many Daza haters out there saying that he was not going to make the roster and he was going to get DFA'd. So you know what? I'm at least doing a little bit better there than originally anticipated.
You can actually watch your dude, unlike Spencer, who took Connor Joe, and he's yet to see his dude in weeks.
Exactly. Austin Gomber, little rocky start, got a little bit better the second time around. Hopefully we'll get even better tomorrow. And Germán Marquez, kind of the same way, started a little bumpy, is progressively getting better. Daniel Bard has come in for a couple save situations. So overall, not horrible, not the best, but at least Daza didn't get DFA'd. That's all I care about.
Hey, that's a win, right? Like you said, the Rockies are going to need to be up in a few more games for Daniel Bard to earn you a few more points there. I do think it sounds like it's not too long before we're going to see Brendan Rodgers. That's good news. And Marquez is still in for a solid year for you.
I will say Daniel gave me a heart attack on the first Dodgers series. Yeah, literal heart attack. My heart almost stopped. So I'm hanging in there as best as I can.
Yeah, and you stole Austin Gomber because as we talked about after the podcast, we were joking around about Connor Joe, and Spencer is like, I'm not joking around, and I really want to make sure I draft this guy. So he could have waited on Joe, still had Austin Gomber, but as it was, his team's hurting, literally, figuratively, with Freeland and Oberg, of course, on the IL. We hope a healthy future for Oberg. Hampson's been okay. He had a good night on Tuesday against the Dodgers, the only one who pretty much could say that. And Estevez has looked all right at times. So I don't think anyone's really jumping out. Drew, I think your team is it's probably done the best so far. Well, Sensatella hasn't been great, but
yeah, Sensatella after
you're
last
happy.
night.
You're happy
Yeah.
with your guys.
Yeah, Tapia's been exactly what we kind of expected, right? Maybe a little slower out of the gate than you're hoping, but still, he appears to be Raimel Tapia. John Gray has been the best pitcher for the team this year, so I feel pretty solid about that right now. Of course, I'm saying that a couple of hours before he goes out there and faces the Dodgers. We'll see how I'm feeling that 24 hours from now, but if he does well, then I'll really be feeling the team. Senza, I think, is going to be okay. Obviously, I'm very excited about the start that Dom Nunez has had here. When you're talking about your dudes, the batting average isn't anything to write home about yet. He hasn't gotten a ton of playing time, but already smacking 3, no doubt, home runs too. It's not like, okay, he clipped a couple, he hooked one just inside the foul pole, or he went the other way in a day game and it looked like a fly ball to left and just got inside a short porch. Like, dude's had 3 just rocket monster jams. And so I'm down with that. CJ Crone has obviously been the most disappointing member of my team so far. No power has shown up in the regular season. And I've frankly been surprised at the lack of competitiveness in his at-bats. There have been some ugly swings. He's taking some pitches he shouldn't be. He's swinging at some pitches he shouldn't be. It doesn't look like the guy I saw when he was playing with the Tigers and Twins and whoever else he's kind of jumped around about. I was trying to remember before that. But he could just be in an early season slump. We'll wait it out on that. But
I will say, Drew, your team is overall doing the best out of all of ours. I will happily admit that.
Yeah. I think my team's pretty solid. McMahon's getting Patrick a lot of points there. Fuentes has been fantastic defensively. Hilliard, you're still waiting for. Diaz, we've not seen much out
get
of
some
him.
Starts. Yeah. The 2 players on this list that could really shift the balance, undoubtedly, Brendan Rodgers, when he comes back from the IL, that's going to be big points. And by points, it's all subjective. It's emotional heart points, right? And top prospect, Ryan Rollison. Like that, I'm feeling good with my 4 guys that are on the roster right now. All right, they're holding their own. McMahon's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Fuentes is right in there. But Rollison could really help shift things. Him and Rodgers are the 2 guys that really could change the face of this fun little thing that we got going on, our dude thing.
The dude thing. I do wonder when Rollison will debut. That'll be right. That's one of the big things to keep our eyes on. When does that happen? Because as of now, it's just him and Connor Joe, the only guys who haven't played at all.
We punted on those 2, right?
Feel bad for Spencer not being able here to represent himself, but his team's hanging on. They're doing all right. Obviously, you feel for him losing Scott Oberg for the year. I feel like we should let him have his pick of any other dude that's not Chris Owings. I feel like Chris Owings is
he made his bed, he has to lie in it.
Yeah, we could every couple months, depending on the rollover of the roster, we could have like a redraft, reverse order. I mean, granted, we're talking about Chassin, Nova, Russin, the big dogs.
If they were loaded with dudes, with dudes, well, then I would feel weird about it. But as is, it's like, who's he going to pick up right now?
Right. And then from there, we went and we had a fun little superstar fantasy draft. We came up with rules and regulations as far as, getting a point for a home run, 3 points for a win. You get bonus points for a no-hitter. So Joe Musgrove right now has the most points of anybody. And then at the end of the season, actually mid-season, you'll get some points for the All-Star game. You'll get some points if your guy wins the Cy Young Award, or if he is the MVP, which is why at this point, Drew, you're hanging in there, but DeGrom's giving you nothing. You're hoping that by the end of the season, you're going to get that big 20-point bonus, right?
Look, there are very few things in life that a Colorado Rockies person can count on, right? If you're in the Colorado Rockies community and you're feeling down about your team all the time, you'll always have the Mets. It's just because the Rockies are supposed to be bad and they don't have any money. And they're out here where they're just trying to now grow, a generation of baseball fans. And it's really the first. They became a team the year I joined T-ball. I'm a first generation Colorado Rockies fan, right? The Mets are an institution. They have all the money, tens of millions of fans. They'll be playing New York Mets baseball somewhere long after the supernova of our sun has enveloped the earth in heat death. The New York Mets should be able to compete with all of their built-in advantages. They've got the best pitcher in the National League, and they cannot win a ball game with him on the mound. It is like a Star Trek level of impressive that they have achieved this.
Jacob deGrom is so good that when he takes the mound, he shuts down 2 offenses. That's how good this guy is.
Is that
2 teams will not score runs.
Is that?
I'm down with that logic. I kind of like that.
It's yeah. So that's one that you're gonna have to wait to maybe get those bonus points. And again, that's like that 20 points is like 6 wins. And so you go, even if he only wins 12 and he should win 18, again, I think you're going to take that. You're going to have fun watching DeGrom. So that was still obviously a good pick. Arenado's got 3 home runs. Stanton's got 1. Jack Flaherty, 2 wins already, 2 home runs from Bo Bichette. So you and me, Drew, we're neck and neck right now. Scherzer doesn't have any points. Of course, Nationals have had some games shut down due to COVID restrictions and missing games overall. So that's been a disappointment. Christian Yelich has been disappointing, but Bauer, Mike Trout, they're doing a lot of heavy lifting. So you and I were tied right there in the middle. And
remember, I was down on Yelich. We're like 9
For sure.
I don't know how many games they've played. He could have a monster season. I'm throwing it out now while I can.
Looking back at the list, I think, oh man, I could have probably had Scherzer with my 3rd pick, and Makayla went right after me and grabbed Betts. I should have just doubled down and said, you know what, I'll just grab pitching with my final 2 picks. And I've only been at 2 extra points at this juncture right now, but I'm liking the balance. And for everyone who feels bad for Spencer and what his dudes are doing. Hey, he's winning it right now. And he's got nothing out of Trevor Story.
I know.
And yet,
which is crazy to me.
He's crushing us.
I will say, I think you all were judging me for my Tyler Glasnow pick.
I was not.
And I am still very happy with that pick.
As you should be.
I also think that yesterday's game between Shane Bieber and Lucas Giolito was the best pitching performance during a game that we have seen to date this season across Major League Baseball. Shane Bieber pitched 9 innings, only gave up 3 hits, 0 runs, and 11 strikeouts. My dude, Shane Bieber, looked like the Cy Young winner I know him to be. That was insane. I think he's worth more than 1 point. I think he will pick it up pretty soon here and will be a point horse for me. So I'm not too worried about it. Obviously, Fernando Tatis Jr. is a little bit of an injury issue going on at the moment, but I'm not worried. I think I'm going to be a total come from behind winner. So I'm not panicking. I'm not hitting the panic button yet. I'm still very happy with my team. And I think.
Oh no, she froze.
And you know what? I'm gonna put in a petition. I'm gonna throw the flag out. I'm gonna go to the umps and say the officials of the Superstar Fantasy Draft and say you need to do a recount because a win is worth 3 points. So Shane Bieber has 1 win. So Makayla, you're only at 11 points, but still we know it's super early. And the same thing I said about Max Scherzer kind of being at the disadvantage for the fact that the Nats have played the least amount of games. They've missed out on maybe 4 games at this point, I think. Juan Soto's in the same boat, right? He hasn't had a full opportunity. And, he's going to get shortchanged a little bit when they get those double headers. That might be 2 at-bats that get skimmed off. Again, this all balances out in the long run. But it's anyone's game, no doubt. Again, Spence his team's crushing it. Trevor Story, no home runs right now. Oh,
and
that's going to get better.
He should have several. So
yes,
it's like,
yes.
Spence's team is looking scary. I'm not going to lie to y'all.
And Ohtani's pitched fantastic. Just hasn't factored in any decisions yet.
Yeah, but he's been one of the better stories. We'll get to that stuff in a while. But it's kind of, I don't want to jinx him, dude. I don't even like talking about Shohei Ohtani. I just want to watch him play. It seems like every time I start to get really excited, he gets hurt. I love it. So yeah. Makayla should have 11 points. Still.
Thank you. Shortchanging me because you're scared of my team.
Totally.
Who's you?
Soto's
I don't know the commission
Drew.
who's keeping score of this. Drew is behind us. Drew, you're the official point scorer of this.
Didn't you make the points?
We cannot.
I don't know who tabulated the points. I mean, you're throwing out some serious barbs out there.
All right. Well, whoever made this stupid graphic is trying to shortchange me, and I am not here for it.
That's right. Well, I'm throwing the flag out that needs to be recalculated because you do have 11 points. So don't worry. We'll make sure that everything is balanced and is on the up and up.
Thank you, Patrick. I was looking at that and I was like, I don't think that's right, but I don't want to question anybody. But
yeah, he hit a home run. You didn't hear? He's not factored in. He has not won a game, but he did hit a homer. So not possible.
That'd be pretty impressive. Yeah, I'm gonna need the Mets to stop it, but that's not gonna happen. Other than that, I'm feeling fine about my guys. So
incidentally, does anybody have a guess as to what the maximum number of points you could have had if you picked a different team? And there's like a reliever that has 3 wins now.
So I was gonna
there's a couple, but I'm like, I didn't include them. But any guess, like what the max you could really have right now?
No, I mean, who's leading? The home run leader's got 6.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like 28.
Be 39.
Oh, I was way off.
You got a couple. You got JD Martinez has 6 home runs. You could have selected Ryan McMahon for 5, right? Jose Barrios has 2 wins. Marcus Stroman 2 wins. Clayton Kershaw 2 wins, and Joe Musgrove 2 wins with a 10-point bonus for the no-hitter.
So if someone
that's 16 right there. That's more than all of our teams, I think.
Will anyone on any of our teams throw a no-hitter this year? Over or under 0.5 no-hitters for our superstars that we drafted. So that's Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, Shane Bieber.
Ohtani.
Got some arms out there.
Flaherty.
Trevor
Bauer. I mean, how many more times are the Dodgers going to play the Rockies? I mean, that's a gimme. I think we might need to put the line at 1.5 no-hitters because the Bauer one, yes,
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to take the over. I think one of those guys.
I want to say the over also. Yeah, I want to go with that too because last year, I'm not going to say I was a spoiled sport or I was just maybe I don't know what you want to call me last year, but I didn't think there was going to be a no-hitter. That was one of the big bets, and I had a pretty good payout if there was going to be a no-hitter. I'm like, well, no, partially because I didn't think any pitcher would go 9 innings.
Right.
With the shortened season, they didn't have a normal spring training, right, or summer camp, quote unquote. So it's like, no, that's not going to happen, and we did see that. So I'm going to say one of our guys definitely does it.
I think too.
We've got 7 of the best.
Yeah, we picked pretty much the best pitchers in Major League Baseball aside from a few names. So if one of these guys can't do it, man.
Apparently Joe Musgrove.
Giolito, Barrios.
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't pick Musgrove, which is shame on us.
I should have picked Jose Barrios and not he's just my dude. We were doing the back on the other. It's like I really, really like the way he pitches and approaches a baseball game and everything about his stuff and his attitude. But I didn't, he's not quite in that echelon, but he could jump right into it at any moment.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like my Bo Bichette pick, right? Like he's got a couple of homers. He's been playing well. I'm liking where he's at right now. He's adopting the leadership mentality I thought he was going to do with that team. I'm like, all right. Let's go with my Bo Bichette pick.
The 2 storylines I'm looking forward to see what happens is DeGrom with, again, missing out on those opportunities for wins. But again, he wins the Cy Young. It's fine. But Tatis is the one where we saw that he had those injury concerns in the past. Yet at the same time, how do you not get excited and pick him? I think he still would have been selected. Even if, Makayla, you weren't there in the first round, he still would have gone. And again, the difference between a first-round guy that we have in our superstar fantasy draft versus a 4th to 5th round, there's little to no fall off for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. So those will be the 2 interesting storylines to see what those guys can produce before we get to the end of year awards.
I 100% agree. Couldn't have said it better myself, Patrick.
I am restocked on my Hot Peak IPAs. No longer is there a dearth of Breck Brew in my humble abode. I've got a 15-can sampler of the Breck Brews and a 15-can sampler of the seltzers sitting no more than 10 feet from where I am now. You don't want it too far from you at any one time because it's damn good beer. It's damn good seltzer. And when you get those 15-can samplers, you can try out all the different flavors, find out what works best for you, or just live a life that's full of variety. That's what I like to do. I'm just always getting those samplers because they're all good. None of them are bad. They're all worth drinking. You can get them at your local King Soopers, down at a liquor store. Of course, you get them down at the DNVR bar on tap. And sometimes we got some really special ones down there that kind of rotate them in and out. It's not just the same ones all the time, which I really appreciate. Again, variety is the spice of life. So check all that out. And as I mentioned, you can get a much bigger beer when you come down to the DNVR bar if you're a member of the DNVR family, which we highly, highly recommend. There are a ton of perks that come with it. You get access to all the written content. You get discounts on hats and shirts and masks, bigger beer when you come down to the DNVR bar. Of course, you get now when you get the annual, you get a free t-shirt from the DNVR Locker, and a free holistic stick from our friends at Holistic Wellness. Check them out at HOLISTIK wellness.com. And they've got a million, I think, maybe over-exaggerating. I think it's over 30,000 reviews you can read, overwhelmingly positive about their products. Really good stuff. This is a 10 milligram CBD stick. Yeah, you pop the top off, you stir it into whatever drink you have. It makes it a much better situation for your recovery, your relaxation, just your body frame. The CBD stuff really can work wonders. It's fantastic. So check them out there at holisticwellness.com. Use promo code DNVR30. You get 30% off, but we'll send you some free stuff right now when you become a member of the DNVR family. And shout out, by the way, to everyone on Twitter who helped me through getting my vaccine today. I hate needles. I didn't do especially well. but seriously, we talk about this being a family sometimes, and I know there are people inclined to roll their eyes or whatever at that, or think it's just a line or whatever. And it really, like, as I was like sitting there dizzy in cold sweats, like just trying to make sure I wasn't having a panic attack or like trying not to throw up or anything, like I thought about how encouraging everybody was on Twitter before I went in, and just like how everyone told me how they got through it, and just how many people just bothered to reach out, and it really meant a lot to me. So thank you to everyone who reached out. You helped me through it, and that's what comes. That's just another perk of becoming a member of the family.
And with the way the Rockies are playing right now, we've kind of become a support group, not just for the Rockies, but as you said, for anybody out there, getting vaccinated or having issues for anything. That is one of the cool things that we have going on in Discord, is people getting together. I met one of our subscribers over the weekend where he plays disc golf, and I've kind of retired from the sport. I know I didn't have a press release. I didn't want to have there be this hullabaloo and whatnot, but we met up, and I say, here you go, man. And we made a nice little exchange there. So it's kind of cool that you make those connections. We've even seen where people have had tickets to Rockies games coming up, and I think Nuggets games that they couldn't use, and said, hey, I have to bring these together. And it's like, it's your first line instead of reaching out like you might in the past on Facebook. Now it's like, hey, the DNVR fam, let's go, let's support each other. So I was really glad to see how many people, helped you out through that.
Yeah.
Today. You're okay. You made it, right?
Yeah. 10 minutes later, I was totally fine, right? But it's like in those moments, you latch onto something, and it happened to be this community for me in that moment. That was.
What kind of Band-Aid did you get? Did you get the Ninja Turtles?
No, I get the boring ass. I got this like brown. I don't know what this thing is.
Brown?
Just like, yeah, dude. Like, what?
Could turn off the guns. Oh
yeah, right. I can't even get up there. Yeah. Right. Oh no, everyone left. Don't come back. Actually, as we do wait for Makayla to get her connection all set and come back in, I do also want to remind everyone about our friends at Manscaped. We don't talk about them in the Discord quite as often. It's really more of an unspoken thing. Everyone knows you got to be Manscaped if you really want to be in the club. It's the best way to take care of yourself and the best way to take care of whoever's taking care of you. Fellas, I promise, whoever's taking care of you downstairs wants you to get Manscaped. It's as much for them as it is for you, for any potential person you might run into. But it is also for you. It's a way to feel better, smell better, and just be healthier. So get the Lawnmower 3.0. It's got a A waterproof body and a cordless trimmer. It's a fantastic. It's got a little light on there to make sure that you can, make sure you're getting everything that you need to get. And
it helps you see those like wispy hairs that are like those clear ones. You're like, I didn't even know I had hair there.
That's
the
right.
flashlight will help you identify that.
It's amazing. They've thought of everything. They really have. And if you've never tried it before, I promise you, it makes a difference. Check it out at manscaped.com. You can use code DNVR when you check out to get 20% off plus free shipping. Check them out again at manscaped.com and use that promo code DNVR to get 20% off and free shipping. All right.
It works on beards too. It should be a tagline.
It should.
Let's face it.
It should be. It's no rules. No rules about that.
It works anywhere there's hair. Manscaped. Another tagline.
True. Yeah, Liam, I had no, maybe that's one of the side effects of the vaccine. I had no Manscaped segue there. There was no I couldn't think of a way into it. We were talking so nice about the family. I didn't want to make it weird. Hey, everyone, thanks for being my family out there, being my support, my safety net. And I really hope that you're all trimmed up.
What I'm hearing Liam say is that you didn't have any cajones when it came to making a joke. Is that right?
That's right. That's right. My, you know what? Let's maybe stop there.
Look, Drew, I know you're crazy, but clearly we need to get to the next segment.
I know, right? So speaking of the next segment, let's do, Patrick. It's been a couple of weeks of baseball, and while the Colorado Rockies haven't been particularly good, they have been pretty entertaining, and really so has the season thus far. I mean, we knew it would be. It's baseball. We love it, and we were going to love it anyway. But let's take a look around. We are going to need to get a graphic. You know what I wish we could do some kind of play on Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, to just like look around the. Remember that? Remember Where in the World? That Makayla's out. It's just a good thing we're making these references. When she comes back in, we're going to have to see if she knows who Carmen Sandiego is. But
Dora the Explorer might be the reference she would get.
Yeah. So we'll go. What's going on around Major League Baseball?
There we go. We have a little globe going around. Flushing, Queens, New York.
World of Major League Baseball. Folks, we're here to give you the recap of what's been going on.
Well, I know we talked about DeGrom, but he's just been fantastic in his starts. And, he has 70 career wins, which you go, all right. I mean, he hasn't been around that long, right? But this is now his seventh. This is essentially the start of his 8th season. So he's been averaging 10 wins, which is not great because he's been one of the best pitchers in the game for at least 5 years now. And I went and looked and I said, all right, well, he's got 2 Cy Young Awards. Tim Lincecum has 2 Cy Young Awards. Now, he won his in the first 3 years of his career, and he had about 40 wins at that point in those 3 seasons. He's got 110 career wins. And so DeGrom has a long way. And at the rate that he's going, it's going to be a long time just until he surpasses Tim Lincecum, who is only 3.5 years older than Jacob DeGrom. Is that crazy?
That's not right.
Yeah. Now, DeGrom said he wanted to pitch into the age of 40, which I think he can do. And again, kind of being a converted shortstop at Stetson University to become into a starting pitcher. And so, again, he didn't have a lot of that wear and tear on his arm in those younger years. And, one thing I saw out there was someone saying, DeGrom he's on his way to the Hall of Fame. His credentials are awful when compared to a lot of other people. We know why. But
yeah,
you go, he's going to be fine for the next couple of years. It's all good. But someone out there said, his Hall of Fame speech is going to be very short because he's simply not going to have anybody to thank. Like, who's he going to thank? Guys, thanks for all your help out there with my 98 career wins.
I couldn't have done it without.
Yeah, pretty much. In like 75 years, people are going to be looking at a plaque of, Jacob DeGrom, looking at his 98 career wins, be like, oh, yeah, those World War II guys, they got deployed. Maybe even DeGrom fought in the Korean War. That's why he had so few, wins. What's that? No, he played in the 2020s. Oh, my gosh.
What will he finish like top 10 or that's too hard in baseball, but like maybe top 20 in like ERA plus or WAR or even maybe like raw ERA or something like, and nowhere near like say the top 300 in wins. Like, is that what we're looking at for his? Like, he'll be a top 10, top 20, at least a top 30 pitcher of all time by like all the peripherals.
It could. It very well could. And, I think people are so used to him not winning ball games, right? That I could see him maybe even winning an MVP award with like 12 wins. And you go, how is that an MVP season? Well, hey, the Mets, haven't gone to the World Series since, 2015. But again, they've got this powerhouse. And really, DeGrom was the leader. And yeah, his performances didn't translate to wins, but it helped save a bullpen. And, look what they were able to do those other days. So I think you could have a narrative like that, and that could, help his cause. Right now, his ERA plus is 152. In fact, through his first 2 starts, take a wild guess what his ERA plus is. I like looking at these things way too early. We talked about Ryan McMahon on pace for 81 home runs this season. That's fun. Let's talk about that. So Jacob deGrom, what's his ERA plus just after 2 starts? I'll give if you're close by 50 points, I'll give it to you.
235.
Add 400. It's 626. 626. Dude. Yes.
That's not a real number.
That's a real ERA plus number. I think he may have broken it. That's insane.
I didn't know the scale went that high. I mean, I guess there's no.
Apparently.
And
well, he's given up 1 run in 14 innings.
Yeah.
2 walks, 21 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Strikeout to walk ratio of 10.5 to 1. 0.64 ERA, which, if you ask me, it's why he has 1 loss right now.
Yeah.
It's at 0.64 ERA. Too high.
How you let that run come in, Jake?
Way too high. He's got to work on that.
That's unbelievable. Except that it's very believable. I cheers to the Mets. I really do. I cheers my Breck to the Mets every day. I meant every word I said earlier. Like, yeah, the Rockies are bad. They're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's embarrassing out there.
Well, I think the Mets, I think at one point a couple of days ago, they had played as many games as had been canceled because they missed their 3 games against Washington because of COVID. And then they had, I think, 2 rainouts. So they're really struggling.
634.
Now, speaking of struggling offenses, Chicago Cubs have been struggling rather mightily.
Saw this.
I can't even put into words some of the statistics and stuff I've read. I'm sure Makayla may even have some of those numbers for the Cubs, but I saw one of their lineups the other day. They had Wilson Contreras, their catcher, leading off, which you take a step back and go, okay, that's unusual. And then they only had 1 guy in the lineup batting 200. Everyone else was below that. And Jake Arrieta, who was 0-2 during his start, all he needed was a hit, and he would have been the best batter on the team. He'd have been one for 3. Cubs futility, Makayla. You've got to have some statistics on that.
Yeah. I have a whole book written on it, actually.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Here's my book, The Chicago Cubs and a History of Impotent Offenses.
Sorry about that, guys. My Wi-Fi is just battling me today, apparently.
It's one of those, man. It's all right. First of all, do you know who Carmen Sandiego is?
Is it bad if I say no?
You said it like it's a real person, which is already.
I thought that would be the easiest differentiating point.
You know what? Let's set our friend up for success. Makayla, who have you heard of? Carmen Sandiego or Dora T. Explorer?
I know who Dora the Explorer is.
All right, there we go.
Is it a TV show?
It was a similarly styled TV show.
Okay.
Carmen Sandiego was a Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? It was a game and a song and a whole thing for kids, very much in that style.
Yeah, there's about a 0% chance I was going to know what you were talking about.
I thought so, but I think they rebooted it recently on Netflix and stuff. I think it made a little bit of a comeback, so I wasn't sure. I was hopeful, but not too hopeful.
But she knew Dora. There we go.
If it is before 1990, chances are the answer is no.
Around in there. Yeah, that's fair. I buy that.
All right, here's some Cub stats. They the other day they had 49 hits in their first 10 games, right? And that's the lowest since 1901. And it was any 10-game stretch. 1901 was the last time they had any 10-game stretch. And they've started that way. They've actually started that way. Their previous low was 51 hits in 1968. So it's just the most futile club offensively that the Cubs have ever seen here in the early going. This was a team that was already on the cusp of like, hey, maybe they've got one more run in them. You know, Rizzo, Bryant, Javi Baez were all in the final year of their deal. I think Wilson Contreras only has another year after 2022. So that's a team that might really need to get dismantled if they can't figure it out here pretty quickly.
You thought the Rockies offense was embarrassing.
No, Rockies have, I think, have been a little bit more impressive compared to that, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's by far. I mean, Ryan McMahon alone has been more exciting than the entire Chicago Cubs offense.
Some other excitement we got as far as good stories. You know, Makayla, you mentioned Lucas Giolito kind of going a head-to-head there with Glasnow, right? Did the same thing on opening day with Jose Berrios. Or not opening day, but no, it was opening day. It was their first start where they both had dual no-hitters going into the seventh inning, which is, again, almost unheard of. Like the AL Central is way better than people give credit. It's one of the reasons why I said both Minnesota and Cleveland were going to go to the postseason and not the White Sox. But they'll be in there. They'll be in the hunt. You could have all three of those teams. The Central is a lot better than people give it credit, especially with the pitching that they've got.
Yeah, I was definitely underselling the Central at the beginning of the season. That was totally my bad. I really did not expect. I think they're way overperforming my expectations that I set for them, at least personally. But yeah.
Still a bad division. But no, I'm with you're right. There's a lot of good pitchers in that division. So that's going to make a lot of the games close and competitive and make them feel really good. It's not a good division. They're going to get crushed by whoever wins that division. It's going to get destroyed by whoever wins the other ones. But I'm rooting for them. I always end up rooting for the Twins one way or another. I'll find a way. Also, does it seem like, and I have not even checked the stats on this at all until you were just talking about some of these dueling no-hitters and great pitching performances and all this stuff. It seems to me like pitching has been well ahead of hitting at the start of this year, kind of across the board. Obviously, there's going to be your counter examples and offense is going to break out whenever, but it seems to me like we've seen more of these guys flirting with no hitters, taking them into the 6th or the 7th, some shutouts already early on. And I'm wondering,
you want to know why?
Because Drew watches too much baseball.
Oh, no, because they messed with the baseball again. There's something weird. I think they tried to overcorrect for last season's baseball. And now it's just like a dead ball. Like it's not hittable. Like it's,
mush ball. I've heard a lot of people use the term mush ball.
Mush ball.
I 100% think that they did something way wonky with the baseballs, and now they're just completely changing the performance and the games themselves. I think they tried to overcorrect for the mistake of, giving the ball some extra lift last season, and now it's just.
There's some information slowly starting to come out now that we have some data to use on it. I think. As you said, Makayla, they had anticipated the baseball to do one thing, and it's kind of, done, not necessarily done the opposite, but it hasn't had the effect that they're hoping it does have. So
I hope those Major League Baseball doesn't mess with the baseballs. People are taking a hard look in the mirror now.
Yeah,
it's not good.
Yeah, we'll see it. We'll keep our eyes on that for sure. But that's something that's going to be a storyline throughout the year.
Another fun storyline, Yermín Mercedes. Everybody had him pegged for Rookie of the Year going into the season, right?
Nope.
Career minor leaguer, thick boy, a real unit, real big backstop guy that's really just kind of been showcasing as a catcher. He goes 5 for 5 on opening day, ends up going 8 for 8 to start his career. I mean, guy was playing indie ball for a while, but he can rake, and he's been a big part of that White Sox lineup. So he's been one of those exciting stories in the early going. Nick Castellanos has been an exciting story. He every year seems to lead the league in barrels, and we saw that play the other day. Sliding into home plate, taking out Jake Woodford, who was thought to be included in the Arenado deal, was not. Creates this big old dust up, and after the game, he said, yeah, Yachty got in my face. And you know what? If I had a chance to go up to him after the game and we were one-on-one, I would get right in his face and I would tell him, can I have your autograph, dude? I love that. Props to Yachty, 2,000 games caught behind the plate. Rare feat. He did that today. It is 2,000th game.
The people who want to debate whether or not Yadier Molina is a Hall of Famer are the same as the people who want to debate whether or not the Beatles are one of the greatest rock bands of all time. Like, who are you trying to impress? Like, what, Makayla?
I'm trying to be a contrarian. So the Beatles were a rock band from the 1960s.
Yadier Molina, she's like,
comprised
Beatles?
of Richard Starkey.
Old rock people with you guys.
Yeah, the Beatles were made up of Richard Starkey, Stuart Sutcliffe, Pete Best. I'm going reverse order of their importance.
Okay,
their
no, I
wins
know
above
who the Beatles
replacement.
are. I just don't enjoy their music, but that's a hot take that we can save. Oh my God. It looks
And you
like
don't
it
have
does.
to. And
Yeah,
I
exactly.
particularly enjoyed watching Yadier Molina win baseball games.
I know. Well, I was just going to say, I think the reason why Yachty is so controversial is because we all know he has a very fiery personality that can rub people the wrong way sometimes. But I don't think that should discount his performance as a baseball player because he is incredible. One of the best catchers we've gotten to watch as of late. And I don't think there should ever be any question that he's a future Hall of Famer. I just can understand why people want to discount him just based off of his personality. But again, that should never take away from the talent that is Yadier Molina.
I feel like you guys just both put me in first place for the Hall of Fame draft that we did. He was like my 4th round pick. And so I feel like I already got one. I'm up.
Right.
I mean, granted, we're not going to know who wins that for maybe a couple of decades, but
Right.
I'm going to say I have a lead right now on that.
Right.
Yeah, Yachty's that guy that, opponents hate him for better or worse. But then when their careers are over, they're going to be like best friends. Be like, this guy, let me tell you what he did to me. And he called for this inside pitch. They hit me 3 times in a row. But you love competing. Like that was your guy. It was, I think we were talking off air, this idea that Ty Cobb, while he was a dirty player and hated everybody in the game, when they were done playing, he took care of some of those guys and he paid for their funerals because he was like, hey, these were my guys. These were the guys that made me the best at who I could be. And
Right.
I think players are going to feel like that way about Yachty Molina if they didn't play with him once their careers are over.
He's an institution, right?
Yeah.
Yadier Molina has been an institution in the game of baseball for like our entire
The Molina
life.
family, right? The whole fam.
Yeah.
Right. So congratulations to Yachty and 2,000 games catching. That's insane. That's insane. It's one of the hardest jobs in all of professional sports.
I can't believe his knees has lasted that long. My
Insane.
knees would have gave out like 3 years ago.
It's amazing the guy can still walk. Like,
You just don't swing at the pitches outside the zone.
Is there a catchers or athletes debate out there? No.
I certainly hope not.
You're more likely to make the comment of catchers are not the sharpest knife in the drawer because why would you? What do they call them? The tools of ignorance, you know? For catchers. Sorry, Liam. I know you're a backstop there. All right. What about the Joe Musgrove no-hitter? Any thoughts on that? First one in 53 years for the Padres. Victor Caratini, who came over as Yu Darvish's catcher. He has his second no-hitter. In fact, who caught the last no-hitter? Victor Caratini. So he's got 2 now in the span of 2 no-hitters. So Joe Musgrove no-hitter. How are we feeling about that?
It was a really cool moment to watch. I got goosebumps. I mean, I think the fact that, Joe grew up as a Padres fan really just like took that moment over the top. It was a bummer that it didn't happen at Petco Park, but I also thought it was really cool that, Rangers fans still cheered for the moment. They recognized the significance of it. They were on their feet. They were just as happy for him as, all of us were. So it was definitely cool to watch. And I think it was extra special that he grew up a Padres fan, a local guy. you couldn't really ask. That's why, like, how can you not be romantic about baseball? Like, it gives you moments like these that, you know, even if you're not a Padres fan, you can still cheer for, because just like the historical factor of that moment is so cool and so cool to witness. And you just can't help but cheer for stuff like that.
It was against the Rangers. Their GM is Chris Young, who he himself had a no-hitter. He took in the 9th inning with the Padres. It's thrown at Globe Life Park. So now you've got a World Series won in Globe Life Park by the Dodgers, a no-hitter thrown by the Padres in Globe Life Field, I should say. So feel as bad as you want, Rockies fans, but at least your home stadium is known for things that your home team has done.
Right.
Other than the 2007 World Series won by the Boston Red Sox. But nobody talks about that, so that doesn't technically count. I'll say this. This was what was interesting, and then maybe we can move on to talking about the Rockies. But the Rangers got no hit. It was their first time getting no hit since 2007. Mark Burley threw that no-hitter. Listen to the guys who are in that lineup. 6 guys that are almost borderline Hall of Famers. And some of them you could say deserve to be in. Burley threw a no-hitter against Kenny Lofton, Ian Kinsler, Michael Young, Mark Teixeira, Sammy Sosa, and Nelson Cruz.
Wow.
6 guys that are all in the Hall of Good to Great.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That has to be one of
crazy.
the best teams who have ever had a no-hitter against.
I was going to say, because almost any time, and I hate this, I hate it every time it happens when somebody throws a no-hitter. They go, yeah, but look at the lineup. Like, then you throw a no-hitter,
right?
Yeah. You go out there and throw a no-hitter, you JV pitcher. Like, shut up.
It's so hard. It's one of the most difficult accomplishments in all of sports. So pointing at the lineup to be like, this doesn't work for me. That said, there are a lot of times when teams get shut out and you kind of look at the lineup and go, okay, it kind of makes sense that team might have gotten no hit. But
yeah, that's one of the. You're right, Drew. Like, that's something that shouldn't be done. Like, if we're talking about unwritten rules for fans, and again, it's fun, right? You want to have that debate and go, yeah, but if so and so is in the lineup, that wouldn't have happened. I get it, but you're right. If a guy gets that no hitter, a perfect game, even if it is the B squad, you go, you did that. Like, take Max Scherzer and have him throw against a AAA team. Is he throwing a no hitter every time? No, he could go out there 33 times and he's not throwing a no-hitter against AAA players, even AA players.
Right.
It's hard to do.
Somebody wrote to us in the Discord. I was going to see if I could find it today about a Division I softball player who pitched a perfect game and struck out. I was trying to find it. Here's
the number you're looking for is everyone. Yes.
Troutwain, North Texas's Troutwain, K's all 21 consecutive batters. She threw a perfect game and struck out everybody. I don't care if you're playing 6-year-old little league just past T-ball. I don't care if you're playing coach pitch. Coach not trying to strike everybody.
I don't care if you're coach pitch.
Cape Cod.
I do care.
There is no league. If your 12-year-old kid goes out there and strikes out every single batter from the first to the end and the game ends, that's remarkable. To do it at a Division I college, that's insane. That's one of the most impressive things I've ever heard of.
Drew, you missed the low-hanging fruit. I don't care if you do it on MLB The Show on easy mode. You're not doing that.
I've played MLB The Show for years. I've been ranked. I'm sorry, I'm not doing this thing. It's not about me. I've been ranked in the top 10 at this silly little video game. I've thrown no hitters. I've thrown perfect games. I've struck out 20 guys in a game. 27, 21.
That's wild.
Consecutive? No.
Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, and softball pitchers do dominate. That's a sport where, again, if you just have that one pitcher, it's like your team's set. But still, I've never seen that before, and that's first time it's happened in Division I.
Yeah, mind blowing. And of course, the best story in Major League Baseball so far this year. We moved the All-Star game out of Atlanta into Denver. I don't know if you guys heard about that. That was last year.
Really?
Oh,
yeah. I missed that.
That's going to happen. We're gonna put Larry Walker in the Hall of Fame in a couple of weeks. So,
and we got a date. Is it August 21st for retirement? Retire number 33.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun. That stuff's going to be all fantastic. One of the things that I know is absolutely fantastic is our friends over at Draft Kings Sportsbook. They're helping us earn money. They're helping us have fun each and every day with the Colorado Rockies. Even though they're not winning a lot of baseball games, you can still be taking overs or unders. You can bet against them, and that can make it fun too, if that's how you want to go about it. Either way, there's a lot of different avenues to make even the most seemingly boring of baseball games into a pretty fun experience. I know I was still sitting there hoping for Bauer to get that under on the strikeouts after we had talked about that. Some of those things, right? It's just fun. So check them out at DraftKings Sportsbook. You can get the app on your phone. It's the top-rated DraftKings, or it's the top-rated sportsbook app, of course, as well. Really, really love our friends over there. Whether you're betting on baseball, basketball, hockey. I was going to say football, but I
what other sports do you know? Keep going.
The lacrosse,
table tennis,
golf, table tennis. You could do a little bit. Actually, all that stuff's true.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. As much as it sounded like we were just naming all the sports we could think of.
Highlight? Do we know of highlight? I don't know. Maybe?
That I don't know.
Bocce ball. Then again, I don't even know if there's pro bocce ball to begin with.
There should be. But either way, if you use that promo code DNVR when you sign up now, you can turn $1 into $100 in free bets if the basketball team of your choosing hits a three. You don't even need to know anything about basketball. Just pick a team in a game they're playing, pick that team to hit a three. You're almost certainly going to hit that thing. So it's code DNVR. You'll turn $1 into $100 in free bets for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And once you're making a little bit of extra money with our friend at DraftKings Sportsbook, you may be looking to buy a new home with all that extra money, especially if you hit one big. So those of you that put in big on Jokic to win NBA MVP at the beginning of the year, you might be looking for a new home. And so you got to contact our friends at Chevalier Mortgage. Maybe looking to refinance just into a loan, whatever it is. They're the experts. They really do take care of you. The protectors of the realm, as the name Chevalier is the namesake for. That's the etymology of it. In French, they're protecting your realm. You got to take care of them. They'll take care of you. Check out DNVRmortgage.com. Enter to win a free DNVR shirt or hat of your choice. But most importantly, when you do, you get set up with a free consultation to discuss all of your options. That's DNVRmortgage.com, or you can call Virginia directly at 303-257-6578 or Mike at 970-412-2472. Michael Chevalier, NMLS number 1931006, and Virginia Chevalier, NMLS number 1910631. Now I'm bouncing. I got to bounce on my stuff. The Rockies.
We got to win some people some money. So if we're going to get
if you want to deflate your step, we can talk about that Rockies game last night because that'll make you sound real fast.
That was not good. 7-0 loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'll save my rant on robo-umps for another time. But God, that was a bad call on Antonio Senzatella. Just embarrassingly terrible. But
and
again,
the makeup call was even worse.
I know. It was. The makeup call made me angrier than the original missed call. But again, we can get back into that at maybe a deeper time. The long and short of it was the Dodgers offense came out ready to hit. The Rockies offense got totally dominated by Trevor Bauer, and that was the baseball game. So there really isn't much to break down to. I will say it was funny. I was making fun of Trevor Bauer in the third inning for coming off the mound like a bat out of hell and doing everything he could to get Garrett Hampson out at first base. And as it turned out, that did end up being the only hit in the game. So we were laughing now.
Hampson had two. I mean, so all three of us got shut out in that. Nobody had a hit last night because Hampson had them all. He had both of them.
He was the only hitter.
That's it. One of the fun facts I tracked down that I didn't see in the Rockies PR was that the home runs that Corey Seager and Chris Taylor hit in the first inning back-to-back was the first time that's happened in the Dodgers-Rockies game in LA since 1997. So you would have thought, hey, okay, that's probably happened a couple times in the first inning. Actually, no. 97, Eric Karros and Raul Mondesi, two former Rookie of the Year award winners. Oh, Kevin Ritz.
More Hall of Good to Great.
Yes, Kevin Ritz, right? No. Good to great maybe for the Rockies.
Yeah, right, exactly.
He kind of gets underappreciated, but if you did go with my picks, the 4 that I had yesterday, I had all of those. Dodgers winning with 1.5, like at least my 4 favorite. I think I said the over on Bauer strikeouts, but that wasn't one that I liked. But either Dodgers winning by 1.5, Betts hitting a home run, Hampson not hitting a home run, and Senzatella getting that under 3.5 strikeouts.
Yeah, I'm there.
You'd want $56, even if you bet the minimum on DraftKings. You'd want
Tom
$56.
Hallian, I believe, also had the under on.
Yeah,
3.5 strikeouts.
And that may or may not have been, intel that I had going into the game. No, I can't say that. That's bad news.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's just how it goes. So real quickly, let's look ahead to tonight. We kind of talked about this yesterday, but John Gray, Dustin May in the month of April. Damn. So close. Maybe next month they'll meet back up again. Mac, we were talking about yesterday, this one being a potential toss-up. Well, let me just put it to you this way. What are we at, 21, 22 consecutive innings without the Rockies having scored a run?
22. If they get shut out tonight, it will be the first time in franchise history that they get shut out in 3 straight games.
Also, to make things worse, Dustin May has yet to allow a run in 2021.
So everyone is due, or the Rockies about to.
That's what we're hearing, right?
So we're here to tell you that the Rockies are in for a night.
And May has only given up 3 earned runs against the Rockies in 10 2/3 innings.
Total. I was going to say he's dominated them. So
he has pitched very well.
This goes only one of 2 ways. The Rockies get destroyed, and it's another long night, and we're looking at another 7-8 to nothing, 10-0 loss with 1 or 2 hits if they're lucky. The ball falls into the right spot. Or it's going to be the baseball-y thing, and they'll go the other way for whatever reason. They'll break out of their slump just because they're sick and tired of not hitting. They'll put a couple runs up for whatever reason, and we'll all go, weird. Still, that might not win them the baseball game, but those are the only 2 ways this goes. They go out there and they get, especially early, I think, if they go out there and kind of just, choose to forget about what's been going on and play fast and loose. I could see them going out and trying to pile up, but if they don't get anything early, they're not going to build some momentum and break through against May in the 5th and 6th inning. I don't think that you can't let this guy settle in. You got to go out and try to get after him early. If not, you're looking at another very long night.
Do you see some early bunting, like just trying to put the ball in play? Hampson and Tapia at the top of the lineup, just trying to make something happen.
There was that moment in the game, and Bud Black had a look on his face like he couldn't have hated Tapia trying to lay down that bunt more at all. But I didn't hate it in the slightest. You're not going to have Trevor Bauer walk back-to-back guys to start an inning very often. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Tapia's got good speed, so maybe he lays it down and gets the base hit, and you've loaded him up without even really having to. And now you're annoying the hell out of a guy we know can sometimes get a little overamped out there. But he didn't get the – Tapia's not a very good punter. see where the plan fell apart was.
Know your personnel.
He's never been a good punter. For a guy with his skill set, that's kind of unfortunate. I don't know why. But the idea, if he lays the bunt down there, he's out, but he's moved the guys over, and then you get just a ground ball or a fly ball wherever in the Rocky, and it's 2-1 after the second. Maybe Senza can settle down a little bit. Maybe that game doesn't get completely out of control. So I don't mind pushing the issue, bunting, moving guys over, trying to steal bases. Just get on the board. Score a GD run, man.
I think if the Rockies have shown us anything so far this season is that scoring runs and taking advantage of runners in scoring positions is not their strong suit.
Not what they're best at. Do we have that number? Well, I know it gets updated constantly. It's one of those things, but I know their runners in scoring position is, I'm going to guess 150 as a team.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good. Yeah, it's
not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob. Yeah, the one interesting element, again, we've talked about the Padres series coming up for the Dodgers, and after Bauer, the Dodgers went with 2 lefties. They went with David Price and Scott Alexander. So they still have Victor Gonzalez in their bullpen. They have 3. That's right, 3 left-handed relievers in their bullpen. What?
Wish I could relate.
Is that legal?
The Rockies are like, what's
exactly.
that concept?
It's the rule book?
Lefties in the bullpen? What?
I know.
Doesn't sound right.
So that could be, if they keep it close, they're only going to be able to deploy one. They only got Victor Gonzalez left, so that could be advantage. But I'm still going to go back to Dodgers minus 118, given a run and a half. Corey Seager, I think he's going to hit another home run tonight. Plus 350. Max Muncy, the over/under on hits is just 0.5. So will he get a hit? He's got favorable numbers against John Gray. That's minus 175. And Colorado runs under 2.5 or over under 2.5. What do you think? You taking the over on that? You taking the under on 2.5? That's low, man.
I'm not taking the over, but I can't.
I'm not taking the over either.
So are you taking under or are you staying away? For me, I'm going under. Okay, you're staying away. That's fine.
Because again, there's a chance. Even looking at, like I said, at yesterday's game, all you needed was one guy to put a ball in a gap at any of a couple of different points. The Rockies, as Makayla said, Rockies had runners out there. Somebody said to me last night on Twitter, is there anything more frustrating than leaving all of these runners on base? I said, yeah, there's exactly one thing more frustrating than that. That's having
not having any runners on base.
That's exactly right. That's exactly.
I mean, Trevor's story is obviously due to breakout. I mean, he started getting hot in San Francisco. Still doesn't have a homer. You're literally talking about a guy reaching base in front of him, 2-run home run. Trevor Story, guy walking in front of him, double. He ends up scoring from first base or second base on a single if it's Hampson, maybe even Tapia, right? If they swipe second base after getting walked. So there's your 3 runs. But yeah, I'm not going to stay away from that one. I'm going to attack it. I am going to take the under at 2.5 at plus 102. Those are the 4 bets that I like.
Why for a team that hasn't scored any runs in the last 2 days and is going up against a pitcher who dominates them in a place that doesn't allow very many runs.
Who hasn't given up a run yet this season?
Yeah. And so you got to take advantage of those on the Draft Kings Sportsbook. So that makes sense. Now, is there anybody? So who do we like to get a hit tonight? We're going back-to-back nights. We all got shut out. We're all reset at 0. Who do we like? Let me run down the lineup so at least because, again, picking a guy off the bench, you may have limited opportunities. We got Garrett Hampson leading off, Raimel Tapia, Trevor Story, Blackman, McMahon batting 5th, CJ Crone back in there at first base. Sam Hilliard gets to start in center field batting 7th, Dom Nunez catching batting 8th, and John Gray bringing up the rear.
Does Hilly have a homer against May? Or not
this season?
No, obviously not this season. It would have
Hilliard does have favorable numbers in 4 at-bats. He's got an OPS that starts with the number 3. So, yeah, he's got pretty good numbers against May. That's who I was looking at.
That's who I was looking at. You guys.
And Tapia's got pretty good numbers.
I'm going to take Tap. I'm taking Tap. I feel like I've not taken him all that often, and you would think that would be my go-to pick, like the Hot Peak IPA.
You got to save these
things. It is my Hot Peak IPA. It's time to just go to what I'm comfortable with and expect that guy to get me a hit.
This is the first time. This is the first time you've tapped Tapia to be your guy to get a hit. So you're differentiating there. Yeah. You're diversifying, I should say. How about you, Makayla? Are you going Hilliard?
I'm going to take Sam Hilliard. Yep. I think
I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Yep. It's my tonight.
I'm also going to go Sam Hilliard. He is my dude. And I'm sick and tired of going third and having all my top choices taken. So I'm going to go Sam Hilliard. And I'm going to feel good about that. My dude comes through. And if your dude comes through, Raimel Tapia, I'll also be very happy about that. So we got to hope our Rockies guys come through for us tonight. They can't be any worse than last night. I mean, they can be, which is
that was my setup for the Trevor Bauer thing. Man. It can't possibly be better. Oh, yeah. Last thing, where is Gray's over-under on strikeouts?
It was not there when I had last checked. Okay. Neither guy was. But they could have just recently updated that.
I just wanted to give us something to say. How good do we think John is tonight?
I'm looking right now, but
I was looking at his career numbers, and I thought the over/under might be set at either 4.5 or 5.5. Again, just based on what he's been doing this year, what he's done. I think I would guess the over/under would be 5.5. If I was Draft Kings Sportsbook, that's where I would.
That's where I put it too, because that's a tough over. But I think he can get it if he's still locked in where he's been. I think he'll pitch 6 innings. I'll say 6 innings, 3 runs or less. Since I'm not seeing that, I'll just quality start. I will say quality start for John Gray tonight.
Yeah, I think the results will be on that quality side. He might not look quality, right? We've seen that happen before in the past, but I think the results will back that up because LA came through with 7 runs last night, but for the most part they haven't really impressed me. They haven't been as clutchy as they should be, and frankly, I guess they don't need to against Colorado. So
have we talked about the total run line already?
It'll be fine.
No, I don't think we did total run line. What's that at?
7.5
for both teams combined.
I like the under on that.
Just over under 7.5
for both teams combined.
Yeah. The Dodgers are at -112. Rockies are at -108. So are we thinking that the Dodgers are scoring 7 runs and the Rockies score 1?
If so, you're still. Oh yeah. They got to get the 1.
Right. And then the Rockies get that 1 run.
I don't think so.
I think
I'd also go under
7 tonight.
I think it's Gray and May all the way today.
But not
so
what I say.
We're taking the under.
Can make things out of play.
Under.
What do you say?
Bobby Flay. Is your favorite chef, Makayla? Okay.
I actually know who that is. Stop. I really do know who Bobby Flay is.
Let's go.
And what sport does he play?
Shut up. I watch his show on the cooking channel all the time.
All right. Who is he married to?
I don't know. I just watched Beat Bobby Flay.
I don't
know.
I don't really know who Bobby Flay is.
I don't think I have a right name right. Another chef on the Cooking Network.
Oh.
Giada. The Italian woman. Giada.
Is she an Iron Chef?
Couldn't tell you.
I
just know that they met and they're like, "You're a great cook. I'm a great chef as well. If we're both married, yeah, who cares?" And they started their own thing.
Did you know that Gordon Ramsay's also married to a chef and their children prefer his wife's cooking to his? Gordon Ramsay. That is like insane to me. Can you imagine having Gordon Ramsay and then another chef as your parents and you prefer your mom's cooking?
Right?
I would be 800 pounds.
Seriously.
I love how we just go on tangents at the end here. It's the only way to stay sane.
I've recently gotten into the I don't do too many of those chef shows because everyone's so mean, but people got me into the British Bake Off thing. Everyone's so mean on those chef shows.
Oh, on the competition shows, you mean?
Yeah, the chef competition shows. Everybody's so mean. But the
Great British Bake Off is nice. GBBO is where it's at.
Yeah.
It's a very nice show. They help each other out. They have no pride, but it's also because there's no money at stake and it's really for fun.
And at the end of the day, you've got cake or cookies or whatever weird name they give to. They braid their bread.
Scones. They call their scones over there.
No, they don't. That's so weird.
We already thought that scones was a British word. They also pronounce it scones. And I don't know the difference between macaroons and a macaron. That's a thing, apparently.
I think macarons have like the coconut, like the little coconut rounds, and then macaroons are like the little cookies with the stuff in the middle.
Makayla, if we're going to continue to have this conversation that's gone off the rails, you need to not be leaned back in your chair like we are having a conversation that is just all about BS.
I'm just vibing.
Pretend.
I'm just having a good time. I have to preserve my energy so I can stay awake till the end of this freaking 8-10 first pitch baseball game. I barely made it last night. I was watching the TV like this, forcing my eyes to stay open.
Like Alex from Clockwork Orange.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Clockwork Orange is one show now.
If Drew, you did, just so you know, Drew, if you ever did that with your eyes, I would make that reference because you get it. And there's no fun in that, right?
Right.
But I'll talk about Alex.
Just a reminder that I hate you people.
What's your favorite song from Clockwork
Bruce
Orange?
Springsteen's Alan? Oh,
Singing in the Rain?
Yeah.
I like that she's ready for the Bruce Springsteen stuff every time now.
Did you see Bruce Springsteen on Saturday Night Live? They did a Bruce Springsteen on Saturday Night Live skit with him and Obama.
That was hilarious.
It was great, partially because no one does a Bruce impersonation, and Beck Ben I thought did a fantastic job. And here's here's how we can bring it all back together because we got to wrap this up. Beck Bennett, and I think we did this on our lookalike show. No, I didn't submit it. Beck Bennett looks like Rockies GM Jeff Bridich. They look like
he does.
I'm very sorry for that man.
Look it up.
That is unfortunate.
Will Jeremy Affeldt and Brian Fuentes are the absolute perfect people to show up on a Guy Fieri show. So that's just.
I know one of those three people.
Is it
Guy Fieri?
Jeremy Affeldt?
Yeah. Guy Fieri. Flavor down, baby. I'm gonna dress up as Guy Fieri for Halloween this year.
We got to get your loogie trivia history. On that note, or on whatever note, what note are we on?
I'm not even sure we're in the same planet right now.
We're wrapping up the show. We're finishing it now because we're done talking about things quite clearly. Thank you all for hanging out with us for this. It's been a lot of fun. We'll keep talking about baseball regardless of what the Rockies do. We're going to keep showing up and talking about stuff. So we appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. You really are the absolute best. Make sure you're following on social media at Patrick D. Lyons, at Drew Creasman, at Makayla E. Perkins. All the social medias. Don't forget, we've got a TikTok now for you TikTok users. Get out there, check out all that content. Make sure you're subscribed to the DNVR.com for access to the written stuff, the discounts on the hats, the shirts, the masks, the bigger beer when you come down to the bar, access to the Discord channel where you get to hang out with us, chat all the time about anything and everything under the sun, including sometimes delivering baseball news to us that ends up on the show. We end up talking about what's going on out there in the world. That's literally how you guys make this show happen. You're a part of the community, a part of the family. You really did help me through my stuff today, getting that vaccine. I appreciate y'all so much. Just keep being absolutely awesome out there. We promise to keep being absolutely Patrick Lyons, Makayla Perkins, and Drew Creasman in here. And until next time, we will see you at the ballpark.